So just testing this out there, get as far away from the wall as you can, or the door that you're using. Making sure that heel stays down if we can. Just keep this as specific to our squat as possible. Take advantage of how far away you got that foot while still being able to get your knee in contact with the wall or door, whatever you're using. And then we're then going to go for foot rollouts next. Okay, so you'll need a bar or PVC broom, wherever you go. And then we're just doing a little bit of work on the bottom of our feet, so through the middle of our foot, just trying to release a little bit faster there. If you've got a tennis ball, cross ball, foam roller, you can use that just now as well. We're just applying slight pressure there, rolling our foot forward and back, and you should be feeling a little bit of cracking and popping sensation as you go forward and back. Start nice and steady, and then as we progress through this, you can then apply a little more pressure. Okay? So we're going to go for 30 seconds on one side and then 30 seconds the other. Give you a little bit of time to transition between the two as well. But just getting set up, obviously this one's best barefoot if you can. Just again, we're trying to find that cracking and popping sensation going through, just to release some of that tension. That's going to help us as we think about sitting down for that squat. We're trying to get our knees over our toes as much as we can. If we're happy with that, we'll get going for our first 30 seconds in 3, 2, 1. Off you go. So 30 seconds, just rolling it nice and steady again, just applying slight pressure to begin with, and then as you feel the bottom of the foot loosen off, you can then apply more pressure. Yeah, it should be a little bit of a weird sensation, a little bit of cracking, popping going on the bottom of the foot. Okay, 3, 2, 1, and rest there. So I'll give you 5 seconds, just swap sides. And we're going 2, 1, off you go. So same again on the other side, just nice and steady, rolling at the foot, try to go all the way from your heels up to your toes. And then just slight pressure again. Again, this one's going to help when we think about our dorsal flexion in that squat, in the receiving position with our bars as well. Just the ability to get our knees over our toes. Okay, 3, 2, 1, and rest. Okay, so foot rollouts done. We're then going to go for our dorsal flexion. So weighted if possible, so you can grab yourself, bell, back, wherever you've got, stack of boots, wherever you may be, and we'll come down, lunge, the same set position as we had for our mobility test. And then all we're trying to do here is drive the knee over our toes, remain flat-footed as long as we can, to keep that foot down as long as possible. Apply that slight pressure just on top of the knee, or get that weighted object just pop on top of the knee there. And then when you find that point where you can't quite get the knee any further over your toes, you can then allow the heel to just drop the floor around an inch or so. And then ease off. We're going for 5 on this side. Okay? So just apply as much pressure as you feel necessary, just to find that stretch through the back of the ankle, through your calf. Hold for a second and then ease off. Okay, but again, our knees far over our toes as we can, while keeping that foot flat, and then just at the very end, you can allow. All we're doing there by keeping that foot flat as long as we can is making sure that stretches through the ankle and through the calf rather than through the midfoot. Put 5 on each side and then you can rest up. Now we are going for 2 sets here, but we'll talk through our variations in a second once you do that first set 5 on each side. Okay, so a couple of different options here for our second set. Now, if that felt good, you're feeling that stretch, but looking for something a little more intense, what we'll do is we'll go for driving knee over the toes, but this time we're going to do it from the bottom squat. Okay, so making sure we hit that good squat first and keep that chest all the way to the heels, all of our good points there. Keeping that chest nice and upright, back nice and flat. And then what we're trying to do is press one knee over our toes on one side. Once you find that stretch, hold for a second. and then you can rotate to the opposite side there. Okay, for this one, making sure that you keep that foot flat at all times. Make sure that heel stays in contact with the floor. Again, we want to feel the stretch through the calf, through the ankle, rather than through our midfoot. Okay, so that's option number one. You're just going to sit in that squat for 20 to 30 seconds. You're looking for 5 reps on each side, 1 rep being driving over the toes, hold for a second, and then swap sides. Okay, so that's option number one. If when you're going for your dorsiflexion, you felt it was like you're grinding on your bones at the front of your foot, or where your shin meets your foot, we can go for our ankle distractions. Okay, so again, just applying slight pressure here with our thumbs, where our shin meets our foot. Applying slight pressure there, and then we're driving the knee over our toes, remaining flat for as long as we can. Okay, again, typically we do this with a band in the gym, but just at home for just now. Just both thumbs at the base of your shin, and then we're driving the knee over your toe. That should help stop almost like grinding sensation as the knee tracks over the toes there. Okay, so a couple of different options. Just pick one that's going to work for you. Again, we can go from our squat, we can stick with our first option, so just our weighted dorsiflexions, or we can go for our ankle distractions. You're looking for 5 reps on each side, regardless of which option you're going for. And then, as always, our main goal is to keep it specific to our squat, making sure the knee's tracking out over the toes. Jen, if you can there, pop your elbows on top of your knees. Good. All that's going to do is help you apply a bit more pressure to one side at a time, and force dorsiflexion, so force one knee over your toes. You should be feeling a pretty good stretch there through the calves, through the ankles.
Yeah.
Good. So 5 on the side there, and then you can rest up. Next one, we're just going to go for our mobility retest. Okay, so back to the start. Make sure our drills are doing what we want them to. So once you're through that second set, and back to our dorsiflexion test, in that stance, get yourself in front of the wall or towards the solid structure, and then we're driving our knee over our toes, seeing how far we can bring our foot away from the wall or structure wherever you're using, while still being able to touch our knee off the wall. Okay? Make sure you keep that front foot flat all the way through as well. Again, we're going to keep this as specific as possible to our squat. We want to make sure our heel stays in contact with the floor throughout that movement. Okay, so just test on each side. We can now creep that front foot a little bit further away from the wall. Just seeing a little bit of improvement there in our dorsiflex. Good, so once you've tested on each side, you can then rest up. We're going to focus on our hips next. Okay, first one is going to be mainly focused on our hip flexors and a little bit up through our midline as well. Okay, you will need a box or bench or couch or something to prop your back from. And then if you usually feel any sort of sensation through that back knee in your lunge, just grab yourself a pillow or a mat or something you can pop underneath your knee there. Okay, so for this one, again, this is a throwback to week 1. So very first barbell online session. So if you can remember that far back, have a think about how this felt. Hopefully now see a little bit of improvement. Things are feeling a little bit easier here. But just get yourself into that couch stretch to start with. So back foot is going to be flush with where object you've got. So couch stretch, knee. And then we've got that nice solid lunge base. Okay, so vertical front shin, front foot is flat. And then my torso flexing upright, shoulders should be stacked over my hips. Okay? Now from there, once we've found that solid lunge position, we're then going to focus on pushing our hips through while still squeezing that back glute so we can make sure the shoulders stay over the hips there. Okay? Once we've found that stretch through the front hips through those hip flexors, we're then going to go for our rotating away from that back leg. Okay? 15 seconds, rotate as far as you can. And again, we're just looking to increase that stretch through the front hip and through our midline now. Okay, so 15 seconds, rotating away from that back leg. You're then going to come back to the middle and we're going to go for our lateral variation. Okay, so reaching up and away from that back leg. We're looking to reach over, but still think about keeping your shoulders over your hips and squeezing that back loop. So you're going to reach up and over as far as you can, 50 seconds in, and then for our last one, we'll combine the two. Okay, so you're going to rotate up and over, and then away towards that back leg, and try and best to bring your hand in contact with that back foot. Okay, so that's your ultimate goal there. Bonus 1 second, you can actually do. Okay, so 15 seconds, rotate away from the back leg, 15 seconds, reaching up and over, and then 15 seconds, combining the two. Okay, you can then rest and then we'll swap sides. If we're ready to, we'll go for our first 15 seconds, rotating away from that back leg in 3, 2, 1, off you go. Good, so rotate as far as you can, still squeezing that back loop. Trying to keep your shoulders over the hips if you can. Okay, coming back to the middle in 3, 2, 1. And then for our next 15 seconds, we're going to reach up and over. Going in 3, 2, 1. Just reaching laterally over that front leg. But again, still thinking about squeezing that back loop. Making sure we still feel that stretch through the hip flexors, through the front hip. Okay, back to middle in 3, 2, 1. And then combining the two for the last one. So remember, reach up and over first, and then think about rotating towards that back foot. Going in 3, 2, 1. Off you go. You're reach up and over, and then we're going to rotate around. Try and get your hands to that back foot if you can. This should be an intense stretch, but we're still looking to keep that focus on the front hip of that back leg if you can. Almost there, rest in 3, 2, 1. Okay, rest there. I'll give you a bit of time, you can shake your legs if you need to, and then we'll go for the same again on the other side. But are we feeling that through the hip flexor, through the front hip?
Yeah, a lot.
Okay. So we're going 5 seconds, going for the other side. 3, 2, 1. So rotating away from that back leg first. Still squeezing the glutes, still trying to keep the shoulders over our hips if we can. Keep that nice upright torso. Rest in 3, 2, 1. Okay, back to the middle. We're then going to go for our lateral reach, so reaching up and over. 3, 2, 1. Off you go. Reach as far up and over as you can. Again, we want to feel that stretch up through the hips, a little bit through the midline as well, potentially through the lat of that extended arm. 3, 2, 1. Okay, back to the middle, and then for the last time, we're going to combine the two, reaching up and over, and then towards that back foot if we can. 3, 2, 1. Off you go. 15 seconds here. If you can, reach all the way around to that back foot. Again, this one should be pretty intense. 3, 2, 1, and rest. Okay, next work. I'll give you 30 seconds. We've got one more set here. Again, main focus is just going to be hitting through the front hips. So if you've ever felt that tightness, that tension as you try to send the body back and down into that squat, if you're feeling that tension through the front hip, this would be a good one for you. And then if you're doing lots of V-ups, lots of sit-ups, which you may well be doing also with that home workouts, this would be a great one as well, just to loosen off the front hip. Okay, I'll give you 10 seconds, and then we're going back to the start, so back to the leg you started on. 5 seconds. Okay, going for our rotation away from that back foot. 3, 2, 1. Off you go. So we're rotating as far around as we can. We should be feeling a little bit looser now. Hopefully be able to rotate a little further around if possible. Back to the middle in 3, 2, 1. Okay, reset again. We're going for our lateral reach. Go in 3, 2, 1. Reaching up and over as far as we can. If you start to feel this through the lack of that extended arm, that's fine. Arms there, reach as far as you can. 3, 2, 1. Back to middle, and then for the last one, putting them both together, reach up and over, and then rotate away from that back leg. 3, 2, 1. Off you go. Final 15 seconds. Again, think about trying to get your hands to that back foot if we can. Rotating all the way around. 3, 2, 1. Good. Okay, and rest there. I'll give you some time to transition again. And then we're going for our second round here. Okay, we're going 5 seconds. So again, starting with that rotation away from the back leg. 3, 2, 1. Off you go. Rotate as far around as we can. Feel that stretch through the hip flexor, through the midline a little bit as well. But still squeezing that back glute, still keeping that solid lunge base. 3, 2, 1. Okay, back to middle. We're then going to reach up and over. 3, 2, 1. Just far up and round as you can. You're almost there. Keep reaching. Keep pushing those hips through as well. 3, 2, 1. Back to middle. Okay, and then final time. 1 for 2 together. Rotate up and over, and then rotate away from that back leg. 3, 2, 1. Off you go. Final 15 seconds. Press hips through as far as we can. Reach as far around as you can. Almost there. Keep reaching. You've got 5 seconds. 3, 2, 1. And rest. Okay. Very nice. I'll give you a second. Come out that lunge. Rest up. Hopefully now those hip flexors are feeling a little looser. We should have felt a pretty good stretch there. Should be targeted again on front hip and then a little through the midline as well. Okay, next one we're going for our adult stretch. So one that's going to help us when we think about driving our knees out over our toes and then set our bum back as we sit down in that squat. So you can grab in that bar or PVC, get yourself set in a nice wide split here. Okay, so just in a seated position, feet almost in that sumo stance. So just where we're down our usual squat stance, extend those legs, drive the kneecaps down through the floor, and then I'm bringing that bar up in contact with my heels if I can. Okay? From there, I'm then going to try to fold myself in half. So drop my torso down towards the floor, see if I can get my elbows in contact with the floor, still drive my kneecaps down, still making sure my legs stay extended. You want to feel that stretch all the way through the inside of the hip there. Okay? So we're going to hold for 30 seconds here. As always with these static holds, we're going to think about our breathing. So as we exhale, we're trying to drop as low down as we can. Nice, slow, controlled breaths through our 30 seconds. Okay? If we're ready, we go in 3, 2, 1. Drop the chest as far down as we can, using that bar as a little bit of a lever just to help that torso down towards the floor. We've got 2 sets here, so just take that first set nice and steady. We're not trying to pull too much, we're not trying to force the body down too much either. Just ease yourself into that stretch. Almost there, you've got 5 seconds. 3, 2, 1. Okay, and rest. So if you're 30 seconds here, you can get up and straight at legs, just have a rest, and we'll go for this again. But hopefully we're feeling this all through the inside of the hip there. Again, it's going to be a great one when we think about getting into that nice deep squat, driving our knees away from us.
Definitely noticed improvement in that one.
Are you a little bit closer to the floor now?
Yeah. Yeah.
Good. Yeah, so this one has come up quite a few times, but even just spending more time involved in the squat will improve this one as well. Okay, we'll go in 5 seconds. Same again here. 3, 2, 1. Okay, easing yourself down that stretch. Try to torso down as low as we can. Make sure we're still thinking about driving our knees down through the floor as well. This is where in that second set we can use that bar a little more just to help our torso down towards the floor. Okay, you've got 5 seconds left. Try to go a little lower down. 3, 2, 1, and rest. Okay, so out of the stretch done. We're now going to go for our 1990 hip rotations. Okay, so hopefully now the hips feel a little looser, a little more mobile. We're going to go for a bit more back into that. Okay, so from a seat position, I'm going to get myself set in pretty similar to my squat setup. Okay, so feet should be just outside the hips there, and then my knees should be tracking over my shins as well. Okay, from there, I'm then going to rotate to one side. Try and get those nice 90-degree angles from the hip through my quad, and then from my knee through my shin. Okay, and then we can think about pulling our toes towards our shins as well, keeping this as specific as we can to our squat. Okay, main goal here is to try to force our hips down to the floor. That's where you're going to feel that nice active stretch. Okay, we're going to go for 20 rotations here. So one rep being, you rotate from one side over to the other, finish that rep, making sure you keep those nice 90-degree angles, force those hips down, keeping that torso nice and upright. Okay, hopefully here both knees should be in contact with the floor as well. Rotate over, and then rotate back for 20 reps. Okay, you can bring up however you need to, just go for 5 at a time, 10 at a time, just where it works. Good, so again, we're forcing those hips down, keeping that chest nice and upright. Readjusting our feet if we need to, just to keep those 90-degree angles. And this one is a great one to chuck in before squats or after squats. But make sure you do a little bit of work on your hips first, just because this is a pretty active stretch here. Pretty tough one to get into as well. That one's definitely looking better, Jen.
Yeah, that's definitely feeling better. Like, really good on the left, still work to do on the right. So it just means I need to actually do more on the right, doesn't it?
Yeah, but it's good to see there you're now able to drive both your knees down, and then you're keeping a pretty upright trunk as well. It's much better. Make up those 20 reps, and then you can rest. Again, you can bring them up. It's just one set here. Just bring them up as much as you need to.
Did some of these at lunchtime as well.
What's that?
I did some of these at lunchtime as well.
Good.
Yeah.
Was that before your class?
No, I did the evening class tonight. So I just, it was on one of the Map Online flows that I did, just a 11-minute flow, just break up the time at the desk at work, and those came up in it. So yeah, it's good.
Good stuff. Okay, so that is our hip section done. Now we're going to focus on our T-spine next. Okay, so hopefully we'll hit a little bit through those lats as well, a little bit through the shoulders, potentially through the pecs. All these are just going to help us when we think about extending those arms up overhead and keeping that nice thick core as those arms in flexion. Okay? So first one, we're going for cat cow. So nice and simple here. We'll probably all hit this in our bonus work after class. Setting up from hands to knees, hands underneath my shoulders, and then straight line from my hip through my knee there. Okay? And then first one, we're going to go for our cat. So looking to round our back as much as we can, drive my hands to the floor, sending our back through the ceiling, allowing my shoulders to be pulled apart here. You want to feel that nice deep stretch between the shoulder blades. And then once we find that stretch out for seconds, we're then going to do the exact opposite. So try and force as much of an arch through my upper back as I can, pull my shoulders back, get my chest through. And then once I power my chest again, I can then reverse that and go back into the cat. Okay? Just make sure as you come into that cow, so think about pulling the shoulders down, getting the chest through, dropping the belly down through the floor. We're trying to force as much march through our upper back rather than through the lower back. Okay? So making sure again, if there's going to be a rounding back, it's going to be up through the shoulders rather than through the lower back not too much. Okay? So when you're ready, you can have a look at that. We're looking for 10 reps here. So moving from the cat into the cow, that's going to be 1 rep, you've got 10 to do. Okay, so nice and steady. Again, break these up if you need to. We'll need to keep that quality high all the way through. Good again, for that cat, drive the hands to the floor, allow the shoulders to be pulled apart. And then in the cow, we're looking to get the chest through, bring the shoulders back and down, drop the belly button through the floor. As you transition through those reps, you should be able to force a couple more inches up through that cat, and then be able to get into that cow stretch a little bit easier as well. Good work. Steady through those 10 reps. Again, it's just going to be 1 set for this one. Just looking to mobilize through the shoulders, between the shoulder blades, before we think about popping a bar overhead. Nice. Each rep gets as much movement through our upper middle back as we can. Just looking to get those vertebrae moving independently if we can. Just cause that space through the joints. Okay, so once we're through our 10 reps, we've then got our box T-spine stretch. Okay, so we've done these pretty much every week. But we're going for a slightly different variation this time. Okay, so you will need something to lean on. So it can be, again, a couch, box, bench, whatever you've got. Okay, going ahead and set up on our knees. It's up to you how far away from that object you are. Just a nice distance. And then we're looking to get ourselves set down, crossing our arms behind our neck. And then I'm going to drop my shoulders as low down towards I can. Okay, so my setup there is arms crossed behind the neck, trying as far down my back as I can. And then I can think about drop my shoulders down towards the floor. Okay? So set up from hands and knees. Again, as always with all of our T-spine stretches, we're looking to force that rounding through the upper back, not through the lower back. Okay, so as you sit your shoulders down, we're going to think about keeping our core tight, dropping our armpits down towards the floor, and then we'll hold that for 20 seconds. Okay, again, it's up to you how close or far away your knees are there. Just find a nice comfortable setup. So again, arm setup for this one. Arms going to be crossed behind the neck, reaching as far out and back as we can. This one helps a little more if your knees are a little bit further away from whatever object you're using. So just have a go at that. Again, think about reaching your hands as far down and back as you can. And then we can think about dropping our shoulders down to the floor. If there's going to be any rounding in our back, it should be through the upper back, not through the lower back. We just think about preventing that by keeping the core tight all the way through, just squeezing those abs. Okay, so we're going for 2 20-second holds here. So when you're ready, we'll go for our first one. 3, 2, 1, off you go. So 20 seconds to start with. Again, static hold, so we're looking to focus on our breathing. As we exhale, see if we can drop armpits, drop the shoulders a little bit lower down towards the floor. This one we should be feeling all the way through our lats, through the lateral armpit, through the upper middle back as well, so between those shoulder blades. Almost there, keep pressing down, you've got 5 seconds. 3, 2, 1, and rest. Okay, first 20 seconds done, nice and steady coming out that stretch. I'll give you 30 seconds rest, and then we'll go for one more. Okay, if we can, again, now the shoulders should be feeling a little bit looser. We're going to try to drop a little lower down, or potentially just reach those hands a little bit further down your back. Okay, as we do that one, you should feel a little bit stretched through those triceps as well as a little bonus. Okay, 10 seconds, and then we go for our set hold. Again, make sure we're thinking about keeping the midline tight, keeping those abs tight as we drop the armpits down towards the floor. Okay, we'll go in 5 seconds. 3, 2, 1. When you're ready, get yourself set up in that stretch. Again, we're trying to force that rounding through the upper back. Try to keep the lower back flat if we can. Dropping the armpits down towards the floor as we exhale. You've got 10 seconds left, almost there. 5 seconds. Dropping as low down to the floor as we can. 3, 2, 1, and rest. Okay. So for our final one, we're looking to strengthen and solidify the range we just gained. So we're going to go for some overhead squats. Okay. Goal here is to try to work our hands into a clean grip if we can. But also we don't have to sit all the way down to that squat for this one. We will spend a bit more time in our squats in the next part. So main focus here is just going to be that overhead element. So drive that bar up overhead into that overhead position. Okay. So for this one, you're going to start with your squat stance. So as always, feet just outside hips, toes pointed slightly out. We're looking to corkscrew our feet out here, and then think about that claw. So bringing our toes towards our heels, just to create that nice stable base. Okay, once you find that solid squat stance, we're then going to pop that bar up overhead. It's up to where you start with your hands and start a little wider out. So potentially do snatch grip just to begin with, and then we can work our hands in as we go through those reps. But driving that bar up overhead, so over our center of mass, over the crown of our head, should be over our shoulders, should be over our hips, then turn it over the base of our feet. Okay? And then we're applying constant pressure up through that bar, keeping those arms extended. I'm going to send my bum back and down, keep my chest tall, so as low as I can, nice, slow, controlled reps there as well. Okay? So again, start with those hands nice and wide. We're just going to steadily work our hands closer and closer together. Hopefully we finish off in a clean grip if possible. Okay? Just sit as low down as you can while still maintaining that solid squat. If you're not quite getting to that point of parallel, before we think about dropping that chest a bit too far down or potentially come onto our toes, just find that point where as low as you can go while still maintaining that solid squat. Okay, we're looking for 5 reps here. But again, nice, slow and controlled. Just think about this 1 rep at a time. If we can, we're going to work our hands in closer each rep if possible. Nice, Jen, driving up on that bar. Good, solid squat. This one, just bring that bar about an inch further back. So further over your head, okay? Good, keep pressing up, that's much better. Good. Nice, drag those knees out. Really good. Okay, so we've got 1 more set of 5 here. Again, we can bring those hands closer in. Really good mobility challenge and mobility drill here, going for those clean grip overhead squats. Again, great one to chuck in after your mobility protocol just to solidify that range. Think about strengthening the range we just gained as well. Okay, so if we can, put those hands a little bit closer, but making sure that our bar stays over the crown of our head, so over our center mass, all the way down, all the way back up. If you're not quite sure where the bar is, on your way down, you can just bring the bar down, touch over the curve of your head, make sure the bar's still where you want it. As you sit down to that squat, just to double check. But we've got one more set of 5 to do. But again, just think about this 1 rep at a time. Rest as needed throughout that set. We're looking for quality. Nice, Sam, you can squat. Next one, just make sure you think about bracing that core first. So bring the rib cage down towards your hips, nice solid trunk, and then you can think about sending hips back. Good, much better.
Whoa.
Really nice, keep that control. Constantly driving up on that bar. Good work. Did you feel the difference there? So I think there was the first 2 reps. All you're doing is as you went down, you just started to round your lower back slightly. But on those last 3 reps, you braced the core a bit more, and then your trunk was moving at 1, as 1. So that was much better.
Cool. Yeah, I really need to focus on that. I was trying to focus on keeping the bar back above my head, but yeah, core.
So the bar stays over your head for that second set, which is much better. And then keeping that core tight is just going to allow that bar to stay a little more stable over your head as well.
Cool.
So
yeah.
you bring your midline instead of really hard to keep the bar up over your head. If you keep that trunk solid, then you can then press up through that bar a little easier.
Nice.
Okay, so mobility protocol done. For the final time, we're now going to go for a little bit barbell work. So you opted for snatch. So I'm just going to give you the next 5 or 10 minutes, run through as many reps as you feel comfortable doing. We'll do a little bit of work there, just as it sort of comes up. We've done 2 months of technique work. So I'm just going to allow you 5-10 minutes to play with that bar. Hopefully we're going to see all the hard work we've put in over the last 2 months pay off, all the technique work that we put into our snatch. So when you're ready, we're going for full snatch reps here. If you're not quite feeling comfortable yet, just go for a couple of snatch pulls first. So as always, when we're set up in our snatch, we've got our 2 key positions. We've got our jumping position and we've got our landing position. So jumping position, feet underneath our hips. Landing position, the squat stance you just did there. Okay, if we want to again, we can go for our usual snatch warm-up, so jumping from the jump position into our landing position, and then we can then grab that bar, go for our snatch pose first, keep that bar nice and close, and then when you feel ready, you can then think about dropping underneath the bar. Okay, so as we run through those weeks, hopefully we've now got a rough idea of the squat warm-up that works for us. Again, it's going to be specific to each person, just depending on what our weaknesses are, what our strengths are. Nice, Jen. Next one, pause with that bar just above your kneecaps.
Okay.
Good, pause a little longer. So there, if you can, bring your hips up a couple inches and your shoulders should be a little bit further over that bar. Good, and then arms nice and relaxed. That's much better, good.
Okay, so hips
So
need to be higher.
What's that?
Hips need to be higher.
So hips just slightly higher. All you were doing there is a little bit too quad dominant, a little bit too much weight in your toes. Whereas as soon as you think about bringing those hips up a little bit, bring those shoulders a little bit further over that bar, you can now use those hamstrings a bit more and stay a bit more flat-footed, which is what we want. Nice, that's better.
Okay. So much to think about.
Just take it one at a time. As always with your snatches, just think about driving through the floor. As long as we're driving through the middle of our foot, we're going to end up with that bar overhead.
Ooh.
Good, that one was much better. Bar stayed closer, and when it left your hip on that third rep, bar went straight up, rather than the other two, bar went a little bit up and round. So third rep.
Yeah, I felt a bit more balanced in the third rep. I have a habit of like thinking to be my heels a lot, but that means my toes actually come up off the floor. Whereas I should be
Remember, we want to keep, as we do in a squat, we want to try to keep that tripod base. So big toe, little toe, and heel. All three should stay in contact in the floor as long as we can. And as soon as you come onto your heels, you've now lost a little bit of power. As soon as you come onto your toes, you've lost a little bit of power as well. So stay flat-footed as long as you possibly can, and just think about driving through the middle of your foot. Okay, so from mid-shin all the way up to your hip, just drive through the middle of your foot, keep that nice solid base as long as you can. Really nice. Next one, so I know you're getting confident with them, but the next one, if you can, keep that control from mid-shin up to your knee, but just think about that change of pace if you can. So as soon as you clear your kneecaps, you want that acceleration towards the hips, with nice and explosive extension.
Okay, so quicker once I get past my knee.
Yeah, so once you clear your kneecaps, then we can think about that 2-1 tempo, so 2 seconds from mid-shin to clear your knees, and then 1 second from mid-shin, from above your knees to your hip. Okay, so just think about your head. 1, 2, clear your knees, 3. Okay, nice and fast extension once that bar is above your kneecaps.
Oh.
Good, that was better. Much, much better. So again, it's just PVC pipe floor just now, but we still want to think about that nice explosive extension. Good, take your time with that next one. Think about bracing your core before we think about driving up. Good, that was better.
Yeah, that felt better.
And then your shoulders rise at the same pace as your hips. Just by taking that second, bracing your core, you then make sure that your torso moves up as one, which is what we want to see.
I'm warmer now.
Should be. Legs should be feeling plenty warm now.